Yeah. Mm-hmm. Boss. We back in business, Baltimore. Yeah. Like we left something. Yeah. Y'all rocking with the Let's Get To It show. Yours truly, King Sam in the building. All hail the king. Uh-huh. Yeah. This is Let's Get To It. That's to it with a U. Cause I always got you in mind. Yours truly, King Sam. All hail the king. Y'all know what it is. And y'all my go getters. Let's go. Let's go. Man, I stumbled on some good content this morning. It's something we probably all know about. And to sum it all up, what will people do in order to get what they want? You know, what lengths will people go through to get what they want? You know, do they got any breaks? Is any limits? Or is any lines that people won't cross? You know, this is what I want to know. So what made me think like this is I was watching something and it had Latoya Luckett. I don't know if any of y'all know who Latoya Luckett is, but she's a singer that was first associated with Destiny's Child. Give it up for Latoya Luckett. The reason I'm bringing this story up because you know she was somehow came across my feed and she was just telling how she found out that she was no longer a member of Destiny's Child, which was to me a surprise because I didn't know what the behind the scenes was. But she was like she found out by watching the video. First, she said she found out because a song that they worked on was released, and then she said she seen a video with two new members of Destiny's Child, not her and Lativia. I think that was the name of the other person, and she was just talking about some of the stuff she went through on her way, still trying to forge her own path, and it was like to me, I couldn't understand it. It was almost unbelievable because all I was really keyed in on is who made that decision. And I was looking at the age that she was at the time that this decision was made. She had to be in her teens, maybe, or maybe, just basically a baby, in other words. And she was going back to the story. She wasn't throwing any shade or anything. She wasn't even, I guess, pointing the finger at, of blame. These are my observations when I watched it, what I thought about actually. And she was going through the story of how she met Beyonce in school. I think it was like 9 years old or something like that. So, all I could see was okay, Mr. Matthew Knows had a vision of what he wanted as far as his daughter's career. And, if everything didn't line up exactly with how he wanted things to go, it was outside of his vision. But what I couldn't get over was the fact that he didn't even have a conversation with Latoya Luckett or her parents about being dismissed from the group. And I'm thinking, he was a grown man, a fully mature adult. What type of situation are you facing the way you can't have a conversation with a person? If you feel like, y'all need to part ways, because I think she was saying, or I got the word that she felt like him being her manager was a conflict of interest that, he was more set to look out for his daughter versus her. And as you can see, that was what he was doing. And they felt like they needed other representation. And his response to that was just to cut them off from the group. And it's like, who does that? Like, why wouldn't you have a explanation, or a conversation with a person, or because you're a grown person and you had this person, you was a guardian of these two, all these girls, you were their guardian, and you had the responsibility of looking out for their well-being. So why wouldn't you have a conversation with them and explain to them what you wanted to do and what they could do and the options that they did have? And even though you might not be doing business with them no more, set them on the right path so they still can have success even without you. you know so it just struck me as odd. Was like, man, that's crazy, because you're an adult, you're a grown person who is experienced, and you know how to communicate and interact, versus a young adult, maybe even a teen at this age. I don't remember, but I do recall. I think they were still in their teens, if I ain't mistaken. I think they were still in their teens. So for you not to be able to have a conversation with somebody about a major decision like that, which affects their life in so many ways, that that type of decision that you made could have ruined somebody's life. Only through her perseverance was she able to overcome all that. And it was like, man, you know, sometimes people do, a lot. People get extra when it comes to success and it comes to money. And I was in a situation with this guy one time, and I was under the impression that he had got his hands on $1 million out here. You know, at the time it was street money, and I was interested in how to get that much street money for myself. And I asked him, I questioned him, and I was like, man, what type of mindset you had, on your way to get that type of money, man? He said, it's simple. You know, you got to be cutthroat. You got to be willing to do anything. You can't let nobody get in your way. And you got to be willing to take advantage of everything and everybody. And when he said that, he said, that type of success ain't for everybody. And I thought about it and I said, man, he right. Because I couldn't see myself taking advantage of the people I know, using them for a stepping stool, stepping on their dreams, and, taking advantage of people that I hold close and near and dear to me. So it was like, man, when he had that conversation with me, I kept it in the back of my head. And, at that point, I knew it would be limits to what I would do in order to be successful. That certain things I wouldn't be willing to sacrifice, or, I wouldn't want to put people I love in harm's way just for success. So it left an impact on me. So, I just was thinking about that as I heard the story, because countless times, especially in our, with our celebrities, you hear about the people that they stepped on. You got people like Jay-Z. Jay-Z, his path is littered with people saying he did them wrong. And it's like, some people might disagree, like, oh, make another Jay, but where there's smoke, there's fire. And everybody can't be hating. Everybody got the same type of story that, he used them in order to achieve what he needed, and took advantage of them. Because I think, who was it? I think Emilio Sparks had the concept for Give It To Me. It was an old song he already had. And Jay-Z kind of took the song, his creation, and put the spin on it and made it his, and it was a big song. And I don't think that man was compensated for that. And I think, in life, when people doing them trying to get by, they ain't thinking about you. They ain't thinking about the stuff you go through. They ain't thinking about the pain. You know, when people sign new addition to the group and give them these terrible contracts or like the TLCs of this world, people on the other end of that contract getting rich, making a fortune, taking advantage of people. And a lot of times when people take advantage of you, they look at you like you did something wrong. Well, you should have knew better. You should have knew about the business, when in all actuality, that's just a ploy or gaslighting, because this person is intentionally taking advantage of you. And a lot that goes on a lot in this world. Yesterday I was talking about backstabbers, and this falls right along those lines, because these people not coming up to you saying, this is what I want to do, is you signing on for it, because it's manipulation. They tricking you, having you to believe that you're going to be a part of the success, that your work will be rewarded at the end and you're going to reap the benefits just as they are. But the whole time, they looking for ways to trick you out of the benefits, feeling like, I came up with the plan. But the plan is dead without, you know, the realization of it. And a lot of times the realization of a plan, it takes more than just you. And what people will do is they'll come up with it and they'll have you doing, some of the heavy lifting, but they not giving you the heavy lifting compensation for it. And that's why I got a problem with, because, you know, I think it's sinful not to give people their worth. You know, I know it was a quote in the Bible somewhere, it was some scripture to say, don't let the sun go down on somebody. But, somebody, a rich man getting into heaven is like a camel passing through the eye of a needle. The things that you will have to do to get some of the worldly possessions that you may want may take you outside of yourself. And I think a lot of people are comfortable with that. A lot of people, because you look at, even after people obtain what they're looking for, you would think that, you sitting high, do something for those who you have a connection with, who came across and you've interacted with, but people don't even do that. They'll get their money away to the jeweler before they give it to somebody they know is in need. They'll get their money away to a stripper before they give it to somebody in need. They'll give it to, some dude they just met off the street before they give it to somebody that they know are in need. And we talk about millionaires, sometimes billionaires in these situations. So, I just wanted to touch on that. I ain't want to be extra long, but I did want to touch on, that LeToya Luckett story, because she was very resilient. She was very resilient. And people will say, he did give her an opportunity, but nah, let's be real about it. Let's be honest. You know, let's have some transparency in it. Like, the fact of the situation that he took advantage of somebody who wasn't prepared to be taken advantage of. So that means you was being unfair. People they talk all types of rhetoric when it comes to taking advantage of somebody. You should have been ready, should have stayed ready. But the honesty of it, the truth of the matter is, you preyed on that person. You preyed on that person's lack of knowledge, that person's physical weakness, that person's desperation in order to get what you want out of the situation. And there's really no excuse for that type of behavior that makes you a snake. that makes you corrupt, that makes you, you know, sinful in nature, so to speak. But there's a lot of people like that. And that's why I'm having these conversations with y'all, because now we getting to see a lot of this stuff. And what you could do is take some of these experiences that you went through, because I'm quite sure everybody's been stabbed in the back one time or another. I asked the question inside of, my podcast, and I do want y'all to comment and get back with me. Have you ever been stabbed in the back? Have you ever been manipulated? Have you ever been taken advantage of? Because those experiences, if they don't knock you all the way off, you have to use them to build yourself back up, because there's no shining night coming along, and you waiting on that shining night could put you in another position to be taken advantage of again, because predators look for people who are in plight. They look for people in desperate situations. That's when people that manipulate work their magic. They get to lie to you because they know you want something. So they are dangling in front of your face like a carrot. They take advantage of you being naive, you not knowing no better. And just like Ice Cube was saying, they trying to get him to sign contracts with the lights off. Like, what kind of contract am I signing with the lights off? Cut it out now. But that's what people do. And then if he would have signed it, he would have been like, man, he should have read the contract. How you gonna read the contract when you turn the lights off and he can't see? But this is the things that people do. These are the excuses that they make, and you gotta watch it. And the sad thing about it is, a lot of times you don't know no better until you actually been burnt, until you actually been hurt, and then you can start to build your experience. And it's like, why, why people ain't got more integrity and more, stand up characteristics about themselves. They just don't. People out here, man, they'll do the worst just to get to where they want to. And I think it's a sad affair. So like I was saying, I was just thinking about that. And I ain't gonna keep y'all much longer. I'm about to wrap this up. But yeah, that LeToya Luckett, if y'all get a chance, check that out. Today I ain't been doing much, man. I wanted to peep some of the game, but I ain't even watching I ain't even watching in the game. I think Newt, that's Eric Davis with Elite Pros Barbershop. I think him and his son Moot went to they wind up going to the Dallas Cowboys and Redskins game. I think the Redskins is hosting. I'm gonna go ahead. I was watching this show called The Discovery of Witches. It's on Netflix, man. A couple episodes. I've been locked in since yesterday. I got into it, and it's starting to drag a little bit. So I got up and kind of put this together because I wanted to talk about, that situation, how people would do, boy, people would do the unthinkable sometimes to get to their desires and fulfill their wishes. So you got to be careful, man. Sometimes, you want to be open, you want to be able to share your vulnerability, but don't lead out with desperation. That's what I say. Don't lead out with desperation. You know, Sometimes you got to turn your collar down. Don't, turn something down. Say no. Say no. Say no. Be willing to say no. Be willing to do without. It'll help you in the long run. That sacrifice, that discipline. But let me get on up out of here, man. This was a good conversation. You know, yeah. Again, big shout out to LeToya Luckett, man, because she did keep persevering, and she did, she kept herself working. She kept entertaining and kept doing her thing. So, I'm about to wrap this up, man. Get on up out of here. Y'all know what it is. Let's Get To It podcast. And it's yours truly, King Sam. And y'all the go-getters, man. Let's go. Let's go. We always in business, Baltimore. We ain't never going back out of business, man. Let's go. Let's go. And let's get up out of here, y'all. I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm gonna give y'all some bars right quick. The road ain't easy. Y'all just believe me. People that greasy.